Hey y'all, Editing Kennedy here. I have a very quick disclaimer to make. Halfway through the video, my Vaseline turns white on like the inner corners of my mouth and it looks very gross. However, I wasn't about to re-record this entire video just because of that. So if you see it, I just want to let you know that I see it too. I know it's there and I need you to ignore it. Thank you. Can you hear my dreads rubbing on the... Hold on. Wait. Shred ASMR, y'all. Are you getting tingles? Okay, no, let me stop. Hello to all 22 of my beautiful subscribers. I am so sorry that I abandoned y'all for 2 months. Gonna be real with you. There's really not an excuse for why I did that. I just wasn't feeling motivated. I figured with my least favorite holiday, aka Valentine's Day, right around the corner, I would talk about how I've been single for my entire life. So yes, I just turned 20 and I've never interacted with anybody in a way that was not platonic. I am what most people would consider to be perpetually holeless. Now I know what you're thinking. Kennedy, how is that possible? You're so fly, you're so hot, you're so sexy, you're so funny. How have you been single for your entire life? Like most issues in my life, this one can also be traced back to childhood trauma. Okay, well, I had always been awkward when it came to romance, things like that. I remember one of my very first crash outs actually was at the age of 5. I made the mistake of telling my family that I had a crush on someone in my class. Mind you, I was in kindergarten. I don't even know why I was worried about having a crush on somebody, but I did. Things to know about a black family: if you don't want to be made fun of for something, you keep it to yourself. So literally one night we were all sitting around and the topic of crushes came up and they start making fun of me. They start teasing me. They're like, "Oh, I heard Kenny has a crush. Kenny likes the boy." And when I tell you, I crashed out so hard. I was crying, tears streaming down my face, screaming. I was like, "I don't like a boy. I don't like a boy. Stop it. Stop." From that point forward, the concept of crushes, romance, anything like that, it made me feel really uncomfortable. I felt ashamed of having those feelings. And I know that that was not my family's intention with teasing me, but it was the outcome. So for a very long time, I repressed my interest in anything romantic. That wasn't too difficult to do because you can't really date anybody in elementary school, and I for sure was not dating anybody at my middle school. It wasn't until high school that my lack of romantic experience really started to affect my self-esteem. Around freshman year, my interest in getting a boyfriend started to come back up again, not because I really wanted one, but literally because it just felt like a milestone that I was supposed to hit at that age and at that time. Obviously, I didn't hit that milestone. As I continued to go through high school and continued to remain single, I started to compare myself to my peers, specifically the other girls around me. It really seemed like everybody had been in a relationship, or at the very least had had someone express interest in them, and I had nothing. In hindsight, me not getting any kind of attention in high school does not really surprise me because I walked around looking like JP for most of the time. Well, no, I take that back. I actually did get attention, but usually it was solely for my appearance, and I didn't like that. Didn't like it one bit because I feel like my appearance is one of the least interesting things about me. What about my amazing personality? Yeah, you know, like, not to be dramatic or anything, but I really felt like something was deeply and inherently wrong with me at this point. Like, I legit felt like maybe there was some kind of like red flag or some kind of sign that people could see on me that I couldn't. Of course, that wasn't true. Like, I know now that I was being very dramatic, but at the time I was like incredibly depressed and my self-esteem was super low, and both of those things together have a way of warping your perception about yourself for the worst. It also doesn't help that I'm a woman, and you know, being a woman, you're kind of conditioned to believe that one, romantic love is one of the most important things that you could ever have in this life, and two, most of your value is in whether or not you're attracting men. And you know, I could explain that more in another video, But that's not what this one's about. So we gonna table that. So at this point, I've gone through freshman, sophomore, and junior year with no play. So by the time senior year rolled around, I made it my mission. I was like, I'm gonna get some type of play before I graduate. Obviously, I was not successful, but my lack of success made one thing abundantly clear to 18-year-old me. I was never gonna fall in love. I'm laughing now because, again, in hindsight, like, 18-year-old me, very dramatic. But, you know, hey, hindsight's 2020 for a reason, okay? Like, when you're in it, you really can't see clearly. So I'm gonna cut past me some slack. So I graduate, still holeless, still haven't gotten any play. And after graduation, I didn't go to college. So there goes like 90% of the dating pool that's my age. I pretty much spent a year spiraling about the fact that I was probably never gonna fall in love. Mind you, I'm 18. I know I said I was gonna cut past me some slack, but Jesus. Why was I so dramatic? Like, girl, calm down. Yeah, but you know, I spent a little while spiraling. You know, I was like, oh my God, woe was me. No one's ever gonna love me. No one's ever gonna eat my ass. Blah, 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 blah. I was super miserable, crying every day. But then one day, everything changed for the better. I started taking medications, legal ones. Yup. Okay, so before I graduated, I went to a psychiatrist, got mentally evaluated, and when my evaluation came back, she was like, yeah, girl, you got depression bad. Like, clinical, major depressive disorder. Manage it. See, the thing about depression is that it's like an infection almost. Like, you know, you get a little small cut on your finger. You're not really worried about it, but then it starts burning and itching and you're like, okay, I got to take care of this. Because if it starts spreading, it's going to turn into sepsis and then it's going to kill you and then you're dead. Same thing with depression. If you do not start managing symptoms as soon as possible, it will sink its teeth into every single aspect of your life and warp your perception of yourself and the world around you for the absolute worst. Once I started taking medications, getting my brain right, like fixing my chemical imbalances, I was able to start working on my low self-esteem because my low self-esteem stemmed from my depression. And once I did that, I was still depressed about never having been in love. It would take at least 3 more crash outs. 3 more crash outs before I learned how to properly regulate my emotions and also process why I even felt the way that I felt about love and romantic relationship. Because again, I was in a very negative place with them. I still, on some level, believed that no one would ever love me. That's not good. I still, on some level, believed that I wasn't worthy of love. That's also not good. So baby, when I tell you I whipped out a journal and I just start writing and writing and writing, and the more I write, the more that I process, the more that I stopped giving so much importance to romantic relationships. And once I did that, I realized something. I prefer being alone. Like, I'm actually great company. I be cracking myself up. I be having a time in my bed. I am so funny. I also realized that I'm not really cut out for a relationship, nor was I cut out for one back when I wanted it the most. Like, I was so mentally unstable. Had I gotten the relationship that I wanted, I probably would have sabotaged it. Even now, I think like, yeah, it would be nice, but I mean, occasionally I do get down in the dumps. I'll be like, dang, wish I had somebody to hold me, but I also kind of have this thing where I'm not allowed to complain about stuff if I'm not going to do anything to fix it. I'm not really willing to change myself or like put myself out there for a relationship, because that's the first piece of advice anybody is going to give an introvert if they say they want to get into dating. Put yourself out there. Put yourself out there. It's just not in my nature to do that. I'm good. Also not willing to use dating apps again. I did try. I gave it a go. And you know what happened? I got so bored, because one thing about me, when it comes to relationships, I think I'm gonna need a meet cute. Like, I don't know, it's just something about the dating apps. I would get really bored with the dudes on there. I damn near ghosted like 5 dudes. And you know what? They were chill. They didn't deserve that. Those 5 dudes, if you see this, I'm so sorry. I was the problem. And honestly, you know what? I think the dating pool as it is right now, I think I'd rather just stay out of it. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good on everything. Like sometimes when I think about it, I'm like, dang, I could really spend the rest of my life completely alone. All I need is maybe like a cat or two, and I could spend my entire life without worrying about having to be in a relationship with someone. I don't know. I mean, sometimes I just imagine like having to text somebody every day, or like waking up to somebody being in my personal space, and it doesn't appeal to me. It really truly doesn't. I'm just so glad that I'm in a better place about it now. Again, past me, very dramatic. But again, I'm gonna cut her some slack, okay? I think we've all been stupid and young at some point. I'm still stupid and young, actually. Let me not. Yeah. I think that's it. I think we're done with the video. Ooh, wait, but no, before I go, to anybody who is in the same predicament as me, I was so ready to drop some words of wisdom, girl. My brain just went completely blank. I mean, one day I do think it will happen because, again, like I said, I am just so fly, hot, sexy, and beautiful. It's almost inevitable. But in the meantime, I definitely think I'll be fine. Definitely not like 18-year-old me. If some deity had dropped down to 18-year-old me and said, "You're probably gonna die alone," I would have killed myself. Yep, would have snapped my neck. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much for watching. And hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Bitch, you better be there. Oh, and happy Valentine's Day. If you ain't got no Valentine, I'm your Valentine, bitch. Happy Valentine's Day. Love you. See you in the next one.